We experienced some momentary technical problems with YouTube. I am back. It is Sunday morning, August 29th, 3:15 a.m. from Kent, Washington, near Seattle. We had just gotten to the point where the United States was testing the first atomic bomb at Alamogordo, New Mexico. And this happened on July 16th, 1945, and it said that that date forever changed the world. In the morning darkness, the incredible destructive powers of the atom were first unleashed, and what had been merely theoretical became reality. The blast, 34 ten-thousandths of a second after detonation, 0.034 seconds after detonation. The test was a culmination of 3 years planning and development within the super-secret Manhattan Project headed by General Leslie R. Groves. Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer directed the scientific team headquartered at Los Alamos, New Mexico. An isolated corner of the Alamogordo bombing and gunnery range, located 230 miles south of Los Alamos, was selected for the test that was given the code name Trinity. I suggest to you that's a bastardization of the Trinity, the Holy Trinity. They could have come up with another name. Even before the bomb was tested, a second bomb was secretly dispatched to the Pacific for an attack on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. As I mentioned before, the generals didn't foresee the invasion of Japan for another 6 months at least, and Truman had made up his mind that he was going to bomb Hiroshima. That's why that must have been the reason that they sent the bomb secretly to the Pacific to bomb Hiroshima. So he wasn't going to wait 6 months. I suggest to you that Harry Truman was not the hero that we think he was for saving American lives, because he sure as hell didn't save any Japanese lives. So, but you can say all's fair in love and war and so on. So anyway, and then I say something here that we should talk about. When Einstein suggested the way to convert matter to energy, E equals mc squared, did he seal all our fates? Einstein is probably the greatest theoretical physicist of the 20th century, maybe ever. And he came up with this very simple formula: energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. And that is the energy that was unleashed in that bomb at Alamogordo and on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was the conversion of matter to energy, and that's where our problems began, and that's where our problems may end if I'm right about the Doomsday scenario. I believe we are headed down the road to all-out nuclear war right now, and I put 4 explanation points after that. Israel has a bomb. Iran has a bomb or is close. Israel launches preemptive strike against Tehran. And then here, Iran begins loading fuel at its Basra nuclear reactor. Nationwide celebrations as Russian engineers oversee the arrival of an initial fuel shipment at Iran's first nuclear power plant. The operation to load fuel into Iran's first nuclear power station has begun amid nationwide celebration. When will they ever learn? We're not the only ones who hasn't learned the lesson. The control room at the Basra nuclear plant, where Iran has begun loading fuel under Russian supervision, Mehdi Gas, a Russian engineer, will operate the Basra plant in southern Iran, supplying its nuclear fuel and taking away the nuclear waste. At the inauguration of the plant today, the head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, Ali Akbar Salehi, said it demonstrated that the country's nuclear aims were entirely peaceful, an assertion that the U.S. questions. Remember that. Describing the plant as a symbol of Iranian resistance, Salehi Salehi added, despite all pressure, sanctions, and hardships imposed by Western nations, we are now witnessing the startup of the largest symbol of Iran's peaceful nuclear activities. Lord. That was published on Saturday, August 21st, 2010, by The Guardian in the United Kingdom. North Korea. This is the after Israel bombs Tehran. It says North Korea. This is what I'm saying now on Facebook a couple of days ago. North Korea comes to the aid of Iran and bombs Tel Aviv. And the U.S. comes to the aid of Israel and starts dropping bombs God knows where. North Korea launches their ICBMs and bombs Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. We are the closest on the west coast to North Korea. I don't know whether their ICBMs can reach as far as Dallas or Denver or Chicago or New York or Miami or Boston or wherever, Philadelphia. I don't know whether their ICBMs can go that far, but they could probably reach the west coast. So we are vulnerable. Where I'm sitting right now will probably be in the sights of North Korea if they decide to come to the aid of Iran and bomb the U.S. Okay. What does the U.S. do then if North Korea bombs Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego? What does the U.S. do? I don't know. Only Obama knows that right now, or his generals, or whoever. And they're probably discussing it even as I'm talking about this right now. Do we bomb North Korea? What does North Korea do? Bomb Seoul? Bomb India? What does India do? And Pakistan? And then I say, and this is the way I felt when I made these posts, God damn you all. God help us all. And then I say, are the planes in the air right now from Israel to Iran? They're talking about it. You can bet your boots they're talking about it in Tel Aviv each day. And Iran is getting closer to having the bomb each day, if they don't have it already. And then I say, this is me, Ken Iverson says, all I want to do is tend my garden and harvest my tomatoes in September 2010 and be alive in October 2010. Well, I'll tell you right now, I want a lot more than that. I'm 67 years old. I want to live another 20 or 25 years. And I don't know that that's realistic at this point. And then I say, it is no accident that President Obama will be focusing on foreign affairs when he returns from vacation. He'll be in New Orleans today, the 29th of August 2010, to honor, or I don't know what the word would be, to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Katrina. And I'll be watching next Tuesday evening, August 31st, 2010, when he addresses the nation on Iraq. And he'll have a large audience, I imagine. It's at 5 o'clock West Coast time. There's going to be a pregame show on CNN starting at 4 o'clock. It'll be 5 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday. And then I say, pay close attention to what he says about Iran and North Korea. Pay close attention to the Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, North Korea Kim Jong-il, Israel Benjamin Netanyahu will be watching closely. Does Israel's Netanyahu trust Obama? The answer to that is no. He does not. They do not have a good personal relationship. I don't know the details, but Obama apparently snubbed him, or at least Netanyahu felt snubbed last May when he was in the United States here. I don't know the details, but I know that Netanyahu does not trust Obama. After Carter trip, is there a shift in U.S. North Korea policy? Let's see what the experts have to say on that. Does Carter mission signal a new U.S. approach to North Korea? Not in the near future. Listen to this. Obama administration officials have repeatedly said they are not interested in quotes, talks for the sake of talks, or, in quotes, in buying the same horse twice, end quote. A reference to North Korea's practice of extracting aid for making promises, then breaking those promises and seeking rewards for renewing their pledges. Does this sound like children in the play yard? It does to me. One miscalculation by any one of these world leaders could have devastating consequences for planet Earth. And then this is something that I got from Google. I Googled this. It says, in general, pride is the bottom of all great mistakes. John Ruskin. The following headline appeared in a UNET AFP breaking news update, August 23rd. Ahmadinejad, Israel too weak to attack Iran. That's what he said. He was quoted as saying, Israel is too weak to attack Iran. When will, this is the writer in this news story, when will Ahmadinejad learn to bite his tongue? According to the news release, Iranian President Ahmadinejad rejected the possibility that Israel or the U.S. would attack the Islamic Republic. Good luck. Is there a better way to provoke the hawk in Israel and America to join forces in an attempt to prove Tehran's most aggravating Israel basher wrong? Continuing, Yannette reported, in an interview with Al Jazeera, he said that Israel was too weak to handle an offensive in Iran and lacks the courage to carry out such a plan. Don't count on it. Don't count on it. Why? When is he going to grow up and realize that throwing down a gauntlet like this aggravates the object of his verbal tirades? That's what I say too. Just shut up. Keep your mouth shut. Everybody keep your mouth shut. Is there a surer way to stimulate and encourage the U.S. Congress to dedicate more taxpayer money to Israel's military? If that's what you want, Iran, you go ahead and you do what you're doing right now. Saying that Israel is too weak to handle an offensive in Iran does nothing more. Let's see what this guy has to say here. Does nothing more than pique U.S. legislatures to provide additional support for Israel's preemptive tendencies. Remember, I said there would be a preemptive strike against Iran to further inflame Israel and annoy its U.S. supporters by claiming that Israel lacks the courage to carry out such a plan is nothing less than a call to arms for both Israel and America. You're bringing it on yourself, Iran. Not satisfied with taunting Israel and America, Ahmadinejad couldn't resist provoking the Gulf states. Yet reported the Iranian president also added that the Gulf states will not allow the U.S. to carry out an attack from bases in their territory, and the U.S. has no interest in embarking on a military campaign. Don't count on it. Unless Yannette and AFP translated Ahmadinejad's remarks incorrectly, he comes across as to any reasonable person as a provocateur. Amen. And we're out of time.